Hello friends, today I am going to solve a problem on development of lateral surfaces by taking an object of rectangular prism with the sides of 25 into 40 millimeter and axis length of 65 millimeter. So you can find the same problem statement in your video CAD drawing solution book. So in the page number 129, so this is the problem number 9 I'm solving. So in the very beginning, while we are going to solve this kind of a development problem, so we need to identify what kind of the object they given. So whether it is a prism, whether it is a pyramid, so that we have to find out. If they are given the statement for the prism, we need to construct the development with the help of the parallel line method. And for the pyramid, we need to follow radial line method. So the given object is prism. So we'll construct the given object with the help of the same dimension. So select a rectangular command, continuous line 0.5 millimeter thickness. Okay, specify the width of 40 and height of 25, and the angle they given is 30 degree. So place it anywhere on the drawing sheet. In the next step, you can select line command, continuous line 0.13 millimeter thickness. So from the XY line, draw a line of a 30 degree. Just you can project. Okay. In the next step, you can select the entire top view. Then you can select move command, switch on move and copy. So switch off this and select this uppermost endpoint. You can place the object exactly on this 30 degree line. Say in the problem statement they given that object is rest on HP on its base with the longer side of the base is inclined at 30 degree to VP. So this is the longer side which is inclined to VP by an angle of 30 degree to VP vertical plane. So in the next step, we'll find out the center for the construction of the front view. So we'll select continuous line and 0.13 millimeter. So draw one diagonal from the opposite corner to find out the center, and draw a vertical thin projection line from the each endpoint up to the XY line. Okay. So if you're not getting a straight line, so directly can go and select 90 degree inclination. So for the front view, they given the statement an axis length of 65 millimeter. So specify the length is 65, angle is 90 degree. So that should be in thin line. In case of the beginning, we need to project it by thin line. Okay. So now from this endpoint, you can project a thin continuous line. So over here, you need to project a dashed line. So that should be thin dashed line. In the next step, from this point of intersection, draw a continuous line up to an XY line. So extend a center line in the front view for further. In the next step, you can select zoom area command and zoom this particular portion. And we'll give a notation, select text command. So from the leftmost a corner, we are taking this leftmost endpoint as a reference. So we can make it A of A1 should be in small letter, A of A1 and B of B1. Similarly, C of C1. Then at the lower end, D of D1. Okay. And also in the center, it is O of O1. Similarly, in the front view, we can say this is the C1 dash and C dash. So after completing the notation both in front and top views, we need to project the cutting plane. Before that, see here, whenever the observer looking at the object from the front view, the lateral edges A of A1 and B of B1 and C of C1, these three lateral edges are visible. That we have mentioned with the help of a continuous line. Similarly, the point D to D1 lies away from the observer from the front view, so we have drawn it by a dashed line. Then for the cutting plane, they are given the statement in the problem. That is, it is cut by a section plane that is 40 degree to HP and perpendicular to VP, and it is passed through the left extreme corner of the base. So select line command, axis line 0.13 millimeter thickness. From this, a leftmost the corner of the base, left click here. They are given the statement the cutting plane is inclined to HP by an angle of 40 degree. So you can directly mention an angle of 40 degree and project it towards right side. The next step, you can select continuous line and 0.5 millimeter thickness. So you can make these edges by thick line. Normally the cutting plane line is differentiated by these thick edges from the center line. In the next step, the retaining portion of the object has to be joined by a thick continuous line. Okay, so from this point of intersection, draw a thick line. In the meantime, this dashed line should be drawn by a thick dashed line. Okay, so join it. In the next step, we need to project the cutting point both in front and top view. For that, we'll select text command. See here, whenever the cutting plane passes through all the lateral edges, we are getting the cutting point that is equal to number of edges in the top view. So this cutting plane passing through the lateral edges A to A1, B to B1, C to C1 and D to D1. So we are getting the cutting point number 1 to 4. Cutting point number 1 lies between A to A1. Cutting point number 2 lies between B to B1. Similarly, the cutting point number 3 lies between C to C1 and cutting point number 4 lies between D to D1. And again in case of front view it is 1 dash, so it is 2 dash. Similarly, it's 3 dash, and lastly it is 4 dash. Okay, in the next step, to complete the projection in the development, select continuous line 0.13 millimeter thickness. We need to draw a parallel line to the XY line, and just you can mention the vertical thin line. Okay, so now you can select offset command, select this vertical line, specify the distance. See here the distance between A to B is at 25 and B to C is 40 and C to D is 25. So select this offset command from the vertical line. Distance is A to B, the distance is 25. Okay, so let's you can project. Again the distance between the point B to C is 40 millimeter. You can specify 40 millimeter towards right side. Again C to D distance is 25, project it. Again D to A, again it's 40 millimeter distance, so that's it, that you have to project. In the next step, select trim command and trim this unwanted line. Select text command so that you can mention. So after projecting the point A, B, C, D in the development layout, in the next step we need to draw a projection line to identify the cutting point. So the cutting point number 2 lies between B to B1, so draw one thin projection line. The cutting point number 3 lies between C to C1, so up to these lateral edges you need to project a thin line. Similarly, the cutting point number 4 lies between D to D1, so draw a line here. In the next step, you can select line command, continuous line 0.5 millimeter thickness. So from the cutting point number, so you can observe the cutting point number 1 lies exactly on this XY line. So we'll start with this cutting point number 1. So let's give a notation for the cutting point. Okay, we'll select line command, continuous line 0.5 millimeter thickness. From the cutting point number 1 to 2, draw a thick line, then 2 to 3, 3 to 4, then 4 to 1. You have to join all the cutting point by thick continuous line. After that, don't forget to join these lateral edges 2 to B1. Similarly, 3 to C1 and 4 to D1. Okay, later we'll measure this dimension. We'll select distance between command. A to B is 25, then B to C is 40, it is 40, 25, and this length is 40. Okay, after that you have to recheck every data and notation for that, and this entire development layout should be drawn by thick line. Thank you, thanks for watching.